Hello, and welcome to Text to Talk. What was once an experimental series to learn the editing style of review-like videos. Over the last 2 years we've looked at a fair small amount of games. We took on classic games beloved by many, others not so much, and even some potentially lost to time. The first title we looked at was Super Mario 64 a long time ago. Super Mario 64 was a revolutionary game, being the first major showcase of 3D graphics on a home console. From the very start we see an impressive model of Mario's face which we are free to manipulate and distort. In many ways this acted as a tech demo of sorts. However, at some point you'll likely accidentally hit the start button, and remember there is an actual game to this. To begin, Mario is dropped off outside of Peach's castle. This allows us to get a feel for Mario's moveset and for the first time control him in a 3D environment. Once the player makes their way to Peach's castle, they'll be greeted with the immersive plot of this game. Pretty deep in it, mush. This castle is the main hub of Super Mario 64, being an entirely free multi-leveled building. In all fairness, this building is pretty much empty outside of the multitude of paintings. The real meat of the game takes place within all these pictures. Jumping into a painting brings the player access to numerous small worlds which each hold 7 stars. Most first missions typically see the player getting themselves from the start point to the other side of the level, with many others ending in a sub-boss. There are also a multitude of different concepts spread around each level, however the majority of which all come down to the basis of getting from the same start point to one other area and completing a small task once there. Scattered around every open world there are also 8 red coins. Collecting all of these will grant the player access to another power star. These missions allow the player to truly explore the worlds in return for a reward, and can even at times present a challenge to overcome. While any of these missions can be completed at any time regardless of the mission selected, the name of a star will hint at the general direction of your goal. Of course, obtaining your goal isn't always that easy. Many of Bowser's roadmen lurk within the levels with full intent on defeating Mario. However, many natural hazards in the terrain and design of levels pose an even greater threat, as a single mistake could lead to a loss in all of your progress. Of course, being in an open environment, there are various points to find in each location throughout a variety of altering paths. As the amount of stars you gather increases, you'll get access to more of the castle's ground. The climax of each area sees Mario falling into one of Bowser's grander fortresses. These levels remove the exploration-focused gameplay of other worlds and instead focus on the player's platforming ability. If you can make it to the end of this stage, or any other, you will be greeted by Bowser himself. Each battle against this repugnant reptile features a new gimmick, and each defeat leaves the player with a key with access to a new area in the castle. The castle itself acts as the main hub, granting the player access to numerous levels. There are many secrets scattered around the castle leading to new missions to obtain a star. Many of these secrets can also be discovered within the levels themselves. Visually speaking, all of these worlds are kind of barren. To give credit where it's due, Nintendo had no outline to follow, considering this was the first creation of the sort. Most enemies don't really feel like much of a threat. Granted, in a 3D environment there's not much a Goomba can do. That said, in some oddly specific situations the enemies can instantly take out a life. Speaking of enemies, I swear that Owl is rigged. Whenever you take control of the fella, your control of his movement has never felt consistent to me. Getting off seems to always fling me in a different direction too. Maybe he just has a thing against internet phenomenon. Anyway, once the player gets over these hazards and has collected 70 stars, or learned a backwards long jump, the player will arrive at Bowser in the sky. Practically every other hazard from the previous levels made it in. After all the challenges, all of Bowser's forces combine here at one final attempt to stop Mario. The satisfaction of overcoming every last platform is enough to keep you going during this arduous climb to the peak. And what lies there? A single lone pipe, a very suspenseful moment, and then you fight Bowser. After enough hits he can be taken out like all of his previous encounters and will this time leave a greater star, ending off the game. Some may argue this is a weak ending to the game, much like this is to the video. However, much like I'm simply being demanded to imitate a style of years gone by, Mario 64 remains as a reminder for the series' 3D beginnings. After all, Super Mario 64 was a marvel for the time. Many of these flaws were really minor in the grand scheme of this game, and after all it was the first game of the sort. The team behind this experience must have been proud of everything they created, from the pinpoint accurate and natural movement of Mario to the outstanding library of music that follows him around. So many clever ideas that all come together to create this world, so many of which we simply gloss over, so many of which that there are too many to state. The team at Nintendo simply wanted to make us smile. They created something for us to enjoy, and thanks to them we've had many hours, months and years of fond memories come out of one simple experience. Thank you Nintendo for creating such an amazing game, and thank you Super Mario 64 for helping start text to talk. My time in the spotlight may now be over, but I'll be sure to show you some gems in the future. Until next time. Thanks for watching.
But bloops, we already know
Shut
what Super
up.
Mario...